Hello everybody, welcome back to Ritch Talks. Okay, I'm Mitch.
I'm Rob.
Today, genetics, okay? This is something we are both quite interested in because we both come from a health and fitness background, okay? So in terms of, I've always been a bit of a play to your genetic strengths. Like someone out there, like no matter how hard you train, for example, so no matter how hard someone might train, the average person might train, they probably can't be a bodybuilder. Do you know what I mean? Like if you took a random skinny fat guy off the street and just told him, right, I'm going to give you the most optimal training plan for 10 years. You're going to eat everything I tell you to eat. And they're probably still not going to be able to beat Mr. C-Bum on stage. So it's like, this was the debate we've had a couple of times about this. So Rob, do you care to expand for our lovely audience?
Yeah, well, I suppose what is genetics? And we're not professionals on this subject. It's something that we are very much interested in. So it's we want to expand on different areas of genetics and how it plays into our lives. But in essence, it's what you're born with and something that you can't necessarily change. So it's your DNA, chromosomes, and your whole genetic makeup from your parents and from family and generations before you, which change as it's passed down.
Yeah.
So you don't really get to know how much of things are genetic, so nature, and what is nurture. And I suppose that's a tricky subject because what you're saying is, well, someone that might have a skinny fat will have to look at themselves and go, well, can I achieve this goal or can't I? Can I put in the hard work or actually am I predisposed to never achieving
No,
it?
because this is the thing, it's not an excuse. Like, because the thing is, my natural body type is skinny fat, okay? It's not fun. I inherited that from my mother. But it's not an excuse to not better your body in some way, I think. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah.
I think it's just a cap.
You're capped here. But if you're capped here, yeah, you might not be capped here. You might be capped here. But being capped here is way better than being here. So try and fucking reach your cap. Because it's like, I understand I'm probably never going to be a bodybuilder. And I'm probably never going to get to 7% body fat without feeling like I'm shit, like I'm dying. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, well, what's the middle ground here? Look better, feel better.
Yeah.
Good way of looking at it. Good way, good, just look better, feel better. Then if you look better, feel better, perform better. Simple as. Probably do a sport in that scenario if you don't have the best of genetics. Like, because probably I'd say in terms of genetic everything, you probably put, in terms of body types, mesomorphs, would you then say ectomorphs, endomorphs, and then the fourth one, which is skinny fat.
We've got masomorph, but above mesomorph.
Okay, yeah, okay. I don't even know what fucking masomorph is.
Masomorph is the next step up. Then you've got mesomorph, which is the I suppose the lean bodybuilder. Yeah. And then you've got endomorph, ectomorph.
So I'm assuming a masomorph is someone who can put on loads of muscle. Loads of muscle, but
carries maybe an extra. Think about NFL, the big running back, not the running backs, the big ones. So I don't know why I use fucking American football. Just think of forward in rugby. It's
big old beefy
someone who is a massive frame, but maybe carries a little bit of extra mass. Is a masomorph. Yeah,
but that would you say that's above a mesomorph? Because a mesomorph can add mass in a lean athletic sense. Like I think.
Yeah, but it's the build. It's a house. So a mesomorph.
I'm talking optimally. Like in terms of genetics, I think the mesomorph is probably top because me and you would both agree.
Probably because you're taking the middle ground. The middle ground is the conversation that we had last time. Someone being the fittest isn't the best power lifter and isn't the best marathon runner. No. It's someone that sort of sits in the middle and goes, well, I can do a little bit of both. I can do them at sort of above average level.
So for athletic performance, again, me and you both think, or you would agree that, especially in like a combat sport, for example, because we've both done a combat sport, or even like any form of sport, probably the optimal way for a well-rounded person in terms of athletic performance, I think, is between 80 and 90 kg. You're not strong enough. I mean, you're not
strong like DDP.
You're too strong for the little guys, but you're not too weak for the bigger guys because if you're more... So it's like if you're like 87.5 kilograms, but you've got a relative amount of muscle on your frame and you're not like an absolute lump of pure body fat, then you're probably going to have an athletic potential in any sport.
That's the potential for athleticism to be all-rounded approach. So first of all, you sort of have to analyse what body shape am I?
Yes.
And that's the start of going, okay, well, where am I going to excel at? If you're an exomorph, really skinny, and you're thinking, I want to be the biggest power lifter ever.
Probably.
Well, you're going to have to do a lot of stuff. You're going to have to eat a ton. You're going to have to, lift a ton pretty much in order to get to that point. But you're going to have to do it consistently over the years, and you're still going to be capped against someone that's already born with that figure.
Like you'd actually have to take copious amounts of HGH so your actual frame would grow, like into adulthood.
And I think it just highlights the point that we're not born on an even playing field, and genetics is a huge factor when you're first starting off, and it's something that you have to address. That someone might be born with that body type of the sport that you're looking to get into, and you might have a different body type. It doesn't mean you can't be as good as them, but you might have to do this much more, and they might just have to jump here.
Yeah, and
so that it's the gap is either bigger or smaller depending on what your goal is and your genetic makeup.
And this is fundamentally true, like, because I'm a big component of applying yourself to what would benefit you. Like, if you can run a marathon downhill or uphill, which one are you going to choose? Like, you're probably going to get a better time running downhill. Yeah, it'd be harder going uphill and there'll be a bit more reward, but the likelihood of you getting a better time running uphill than downhill is significantly less. So if you are 5'6" and got the calves of someone's fucking head, maybe go into something strength based. Yeah, do you know what I mean? But if you're 5'11" and you weigh 62 kilograms as a bloke, and you've got like 8% body fat and no muscle, it's probably best you do something to do with endurance. Probably you fit in this middle ground where you can do both. I think anyway.
I can change body shapes, because sitting here now, I'm training for a triathlon. I'm one of my lowest body weights that I have the capability of getting to. If I go any lower, it's really detrimental to my health. Yeah. And not to say I can't get any lower, but I just won't perform well.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting at sort of 78. Between 78 and 80 is what I'm kind of sitting at now, and that's to sort of train. But when I actually get to a race weight, it will probably be around 77. So I'll probably drop another kilo, and that's what I'll probably weigh in on the day. Even though I don't need to weigh in, it's just, less weight, faster.
Yeah,
that's the reason for it. But your body shape will mold to what you're training and what you're doing. And it's the same as everything. If you're sitting down all day, it's just going to mold to how you are. So whatever you're training and doing daily, that's kind of what you become. So if I want to go back into strength, I drop more of the cardio, and I have to start training more strength.
Like you could easily be a beefy bastard at 90, like easily, because
I can get to 90. I've been 90 before, and I kind of felt heavy. So my sweet spot is in between, 83/85. If I sit around 83 to 85, I feel my strongest.
Yeah, do you know what? Because I think me and you have a similar weight, which we optimize best at. Like I'm currently 90 kilos. Like I probably don't look it, but I'm like 90 kilos right now, strong as fuck. Like I cannot believe how strong I am. But you do feel heavy.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, if I was 3-4 kg lighter, I wouldn't feel heavy.
Yeah.
It's like that's the optimal range, and also the endurance is slightly better. Yeah. I notice when I go above,
move a bit faster.
When I go above 88 kilos, I'm like, right, okay, the 5k time starts to suffer a little bit, and that's like, right, that's not optimal either. Do you know what I mean? So it's like you find a sweet spot, and you'll probably sit 83 quite naturally if you weren't in Ironman training, but now that you're literally sitting,
I do, because I put it on quite quickly. A lot of people go, oh, you're looking a bit gaunt and you lost a lot of weight, but you don't know what you're training for. And I suppose it brings it back to, how much of that is genetic and how much of that is just, your environment, your training, what you're doing, your nurturing. So for me, I look at my dad, and I look at because often it comes from the male. Often a male set of genetics mostly comes from the father. From what I've kind of researched loosely around it, and I would say I'm not professional.
We're not experts, but we're just giving opinions.
And so I look at my granddad, I look at my great granddad, but then you kind of look at the grandparents on the other side, but the male grandparents. So I look at my mum's dad and see how they are. And everyone has sort of been a similar sort of build. There's no one that's really deferred from the body shape that I have now, which fits in with, I've got it from them. But then it's what I've done differently is the amount of training that I've applied to myself is the level that I've managed to get to has been different from everyone else. So I was born with, a set shape, but I've been able to enhance that by applying mindset, because your mindset is very much, at first, it's genetic.
Yeah.
All right. So you're given your mindset and you've got the potential from your parents. But then what you can do is reach out to other people. Me and you, for example, we are outside the box thinkers.
I think so.
Not many people in my family I would class as outside the box thinkers. I like to question life a lot. I like to question our existence. How can I be better? And really think about breaking it down. What the small characteristics, the small things that we can change in order to be better. Well, that is nurture from my belief.
Yeah.
I don't believe that is linked to my genetics. No. So now combining the two leads to greater potential. If you can hone in on what you know to be nurture and what you know to be nature and push them together to get the top of the pyramid, that's greater potential.
Yeah.
Whereas if you play to your strengths only in nature but never really work the nurture because you think I'm capped, you're only going to be this good.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work long term when you just neglect the nurture part of everything. It's like
a lot of it's mindset.
It is, because like if I was to just embrace what would be deemed nature from my family, all the men in my family are weak and fat, like not strong and fat. So it's like, okay, and they'll all tell me, oh, you're naturally big built. I'm like, you're not naturally big built. You're naturally really small built, actually, and you're just really fat. You really, really, really enjoy roast dinners and Chinese takeaways. So it's like actually, I didn't want to be like that. And that's why I'm like, right, okay, go to the fucking gym. If you're gonna actually be big built, if you want to be big built, actually embrace your heart health, embrace being a healthier version of who are in family and things like that. Do you know what I mean?
Well, health is another one.
Yeah.
It's great that you touched on that, because health is another one that can be genetic.
Yeah.
You can have a predisposition to have a certain type of disease. So it can be heart related. Some people might have hereditary high cholesterol. But it doesn't mean to say that, okay, just because I've got hereditary high cholesterol, that I can't do anything to better my cholesterol level, because they are open to change. Yeah. You can eat better foods, which will help promote, they offset the balance of HDL, LDL, and HDL and LDL. You've got good cholesterol, bad cholesterol, high density lipoproteins, low density lipoproteins. So if you offset the margins of those, and it's pretty much thinking about, okay, if you think about copper pipe, it might look shiny on the outside. So you might think, oh, I'm okay, but inside it might be full of that, lime scale, that build up of plaque. Consider that to be your arteries. And well, if you know by eating good foods that it minimizes the plaque that you might already have from the hereditary level, and rather than be sort of this big, you can get it to this big. Well, blood flows through it freer, so you have better blood pressure. So there's a little bit of science behind how you can be better from a nurture point of view.
You can eat whole foods. You can eat, there's things that objectively, again, we have many different people who believe in many different diet models nowadays, but we can all agree. All of us can agree a blueberry muffin from Sainsbury's probably isn't good for you. Can we all agree on that?
Other than that dopamine effect.
Apart from the dopamine effect that we get from eating that, but if you look at the ingredient list on something and it's got 27 different ingredients, it's probably not good for you. However, if you eat a banana, one ingredient, a banana, you're probably going to feel better about life. Do you know what I mean? If you eat, I don't know, you'll disagree with me on this, an egg. Because I think you can't, I don't think there's many things we can say that are universally good for us in life, but I think the egg, personally, is one of them, okay? And egg, single ingredient food, banana, single ingredient food, oats, single ingredient food. Things like this, we know are going to be better for us than Walker's cheese and onion, or fucking Sainsbury's 4-pack blueberry muffin, or fucking Krispy Kreme strawberry glazed donut. Do you know what I mean? Because there's so many ingredients on these foods. The lesser the ingredient list on what you're eating, I think, is an overall indicator of how healthy your diet is.
Yeah.
If you're eating low ingredient based food, real quality earth based foods, you're probably going to be a lot healthier and your arteries are going to be a lot clearer.
So what does someone need to do? So basically, they need to look at their family history, and if for my family history, I've had people in my family have coronary heart disease, heart attacks, strokes, and different types of cancers. So if you've taken out the cancers, because that's still kind of an unknown in the family, it's because it's more rife in the more present generations in my family. But the heart attacks, the issues with strokes, all kind of blood related, and it's the circulation around vital organs. It's, the heart is your most vital organ as well as your brain, and if you start having issues there, well, for me, I wanted to address that early on. If I knew that, okay, they had naturally had a predisposition to be more likely to have issues with that, well, I wanted to get it earlier on. So in my early 20s, that's when I really started thinking, okay, I need to start addressing this now, so that when I'm later in life, I have a better chance. It's not to say that, I might die of a heart attack.
But you kicked it back 20 years.
But if I've died 10 years later, well, I've lived another 10 years. Something is going to get you. So you can't avoid everything. But what you can do is make smart choices now in order to bypass or, hack genetics in a roundabout way. And it's always that big discussion about nature versus nurture. And that leads me to intelligence. We spoke about a bit about health. We've spoken about a bit about athleticism, and intelligence and personality. I think we can combine into a topic.
We could definitely can.
And
it's like intelligence is like, it depends. Again, this is the same thing. Like, you can become a smarter human being, but if the IQ test is anything to go by, then someone with an IQ of 104 and someone with an IQ of 140, the cap is so different. It's like, this is why this conversation is quite relevant, because in intelligence, there's a very measurable cap. You can even say strength, there's a very measurable cap. It doesn't apply to personality as much, because it's not really there's not a cap on something.
It's not a measurement.
There's not a measurement. There's not a limit of something. But in terms of intelligence, again, if the IQ test is anything to go by, then there is a cap to that as well. But you can improve. Someone who's got 104 IQ can improve the rate or understand how they should learn what's best for them in the way that's best for them, and all of a sudden you'll understand and get to know and learn a lot more quickly in life. Like, I understand that going through things 4 times, it's going to stick in my head. Eventually, when after the 4th time of me just failing and being miserable at something, then, oh shit, it starts to go in. But that's understanding who you are. So you'll have a different stage of learning to me. You'll have a different way of learning, which will be relevant to you, not relevant to me. So how do you learn, Rob?
For me, definitely visual. I'm a visual learner, but doesn't mean to say I learn it first time. I have to put in the repetitions. So I like to see someone do it. So someone told me how to do something. I don't learn as quick as someone going, look, this is how you do it. I'll show you. You have a go. Then I'll show you again, and you have a go again. Because that's why I like coaching, because that's how I like to coach. I'll show you how to do it. You give it a go. I'll tweak certain bits. Maybe I'll show you again, because now you've given it a chance to put your body in motion. You understand the movement patterns, and then when you see it again, you've learned from how it felt to then reapply that knowledge again. So it's repetitions. That's how I know I like to learn. But just because someone might go for an IQ test and they've got someone else at 140 and I'm sitting at 104, if I don't even think I am 104, that's how I was. Just because I know I'm not going to be the next Albert Einstein doesn't mean I should go, fuck it. It's then up to you to go, right, I know I'm capped at a certain level in terms of IQ, but it doesn't mean you can't break barriers, because you might have a foundation level of an IQ, but who's to say you can't improve it over time by learning how you learn and applying knowledge? Because it's only a measurement at that time. If
you work harder, as a 104 IQ person than somebody who's 140, you're going to be smarter than that person just by proxy of repetition. Do you know what I mean? Like, if that boss is a lazy prick, do you know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden, you can just really and you know how you learn that's best for you, you can go, bosh, okay, I'm going to do this, and that. And all of a sudden, 4 months later, you know more about a certain topic than this guy who's got a higher IQ than you. So actually, intelligence, whilst it's in theory capped, hard work really does undo that cap a fair bit, because we have there's in theory so much time on this earth. You have so much time to learn whatever you want. And if you know how you learn, then you can really push yourself or steer yourself in a good direction for learning as much as you can, as quick as you can. And if someone doesn't have that optimized, then all of a sudden, well, it seems like you're smarter than that guy. So actually, the intelligence cap, whilst in theory it's true, might not be.
And that leads to the personality, because the personality can help enhance your intelligence.
Yes.
Because if you know, I'm just not a visual learner, or I'm just not good at X, Y, Z, you can either go, okay, that's my nature and I'm just not good at that. Or you can go, well, how can I be good at it?
Yes.
Because there are things that you can change that might be deemed as nature.
How is one of the best questions you can ask.
Yeah.
How is such a good question.
How and why? How is it like that? Why is it like that? Or why am I like that? And if you can find the answers to those, well, you found what the problem is, and you know what the solution is. So therefore, it's up to you to find the action upon it. Let's move on.
To be honest, it's like this might not even be relevant in 50 years' time, because we don't know. We could either be living on Mars or have bionic arms that keeps us alive for 50 years. Do you know what I mean? We don't know what in future science leads to.
It might be a microchip that you can put in your brain to expand the potential.
It's like, wow, you've got 250 IQ because the robot. It's like Grok, the robot. I know you're ChatGPT guy. Okay, fine. We'll use ChatGPT. It's probably more well known. ChatGPT has probably the IQ of. He's probably the most intelligent being, or if you want to, it's not a being, whatever. It's the most intelligent thing alive. Yeah, and that's like, who's to say that isn't going to be implemented into a human brain, with or without will? Hopefully with will. But it's like, we've proven that we can create something that is this hyper intelligent thing that can just process information at the speed of light. So why can't we?
So it's a good question, and one that we just don't know.
We don't even know if we've unlocked 100% of our brain. We
haven't. We haven't. And that's the thing.
Do you know when you enter the flow state? Yeah, you're doing something in the flow state. It feels like you've unlocked more of something.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Let's apply this to a Neek. You're playing Call of Duty. Yeah, you're spamming Call of Duty. You are in the fucking zone, and you've got a KD of 20 kills and 2 deaths. You feel like you've entered the Matrix. You're like, whoa, God, I'm a man. Do you know what I mean? Like, it feels like you're dancing on ice. Do you know what I mean? So it's like we don't even know. Like
the way I think about it is, I'm a bit of a boomer, and if you've ever been doing something, you've tried so many times to do this one thing, and one day it just clicks.
Oh.
You're like, how? Like, I've been doing this, repetitions, been doing this same thing over and over again. And one day, you might have taken some time away from that point and you've gone back to it and you're like, fuck, I found it. That is just opens up the mind in so much, in a different way, where you just think, there's so much more up there. I need to tap into it. And if only we knew how to expand, only if we knew how to tap into different parts of the brain, if we knew to combine the subconscious with the conscious, there's so much excitement, and I get excited a little bit by the future of science, but I also get a bit scared by it, because there's this, how far do we go, and what previous civilizations, how much technology did they have? Maybe not the same technology that we had. It might be a whole, there's always that discussion about how the pyramids were made. We always try and break it down, and they did this and this and this. We just don't fucking know. And that is the answer to it. We don't know what kind of technology they had, and whether we can even think on that level.
It's so true, man. But if we revert this back to genetics, because we can go off on a scientific tangent that could last like hours, I swear to God. But it's like, your genetics aren't a reason for you to not graft for something. Like, say, for instance, you are this rake, but you look at Ronnie Coleman and go, fucking hell, he's the man. You could be closer to Ronnie Coleman than you are now if you work for that. I'm not saying you're going to be Ronnie Coleman. I'm not saying that. But you could be immeasurably happier and content with yourself by trying to get like that than just by accepting that you aren't. So hard work will outrun the fucking the negative thoughts you have if you keep going and really push on. It's like the snail will outpace the rabbit if the rabbit stops and the snail keeps going. Do you know what I mean? So get close to your goal.
You only stay a product of nature if you stay in the same situation. So it doesn't define you. If you change your environment, if you change your habits, change your mindset, and you put all those three together, you're only going to get closer to where you want to be. And that's your nurture. So you can offset. And I think the nurture aspect, what you're learning as you're getting older, is as important, if not more important, because those are things that you can control.
Yes.
The things that you can't control is what you were born with.
Yeah.
And you can start, molding certain things about your genetics. Yeah. So,
if your arms are this long, they're not that long. Okay. So if you start boxing, the likelihood is you're going to have to fight inside. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like, you're not going to try and jab on the outside, stick and move. You're going to get on the inside and start throwing fucking uppercuts and hooks.
Yes.
You're not going to fight on the fucking outside with arms that are this long. So it's embrace your genetics, but understand there's ways you can work around them. Like I know Rob, for example, well, probably what's the average weight of an Ironman? Probably 68 kg?
They probably range between 60 to 70s or 60 to 75 sort of maximum. That's probably like the sweet spot for both.
And they're most of the best Ironmen in the world. But that hasn't stopped you from trying Ironman because you're 15 kilos heavier. By absolute push come to shove, you're 15 kg heavier. There's nothing you can do about that. But you're still doing Ironmans, you're loving the process, and you're getting better. Yeah. So Rob's living proof that realistically, if you have a goal, stick to it, you're going to get better no matter what your genetics are.
Yeah, you're just gonna feel better about doing something. You're not going to give yourself the excuse of it's just how I was born. So don't give yourself an excuse. This is stuff that you can control. So the actionable step is break it down. Look at yourself. What is your body type? What is your goal? How do I get there? Why do you want to get there? It's an important question because why is going to make sure that you stay consistent with the how.
It's so true. I think that's a good way to wrap. To be honest, that's a really good one. The why and the how, the important factors. Listen, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we know we've given you everything. You just fucking whatever you want to do. Don't let your genetics be a limiting factor, but be aware they're there. Good way. Yeah. Okay. I've been Mitch.
I've been Rob.
Thank you, everybody. Okay. 50 subscribers, please. We are like 9 episodes away. We want 50 subscribers by the time we hit 20 episodes. If we can do that, that's absolutely mustard. And we'd love you all forever. We already do anyway, but we'd love you even fucking more. Okay. So thank you, everybody. Make sure you have a good day.